All right, in late 2023, there was articles all over the media platforms and even the articles all over the internet, basically saying that there's going to be an end of physical copies in certain stores. Like Best Buy was one of them. I think Walmart, Target was another one. They were all talking about possibly getting rid of physical media video games, and I think Best Buy was one of the biggest ones. I don't think Walmart going to do it just yet. They're too wholesome, but don't put it past them. But with that being said, there's been a real big debate about piracy. Like, is it okay? Should you do it? And in my opinion, I'm not necessarily for it. The only time I'm really for it if there's a game that is not readily available to purchase through the developer or the publisher or anything of that nature, when the game is no longer viable to purchase, through regular means. And when I say regular means, I'm not talking about like, eBay and Etsy and all these other places that do bidding and stuff like that. I mean, if you want to go that route, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. But in my opinion, once you have that situation where it's not available anywhere to purchase, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm for it. I mean, like, let's say, for instance, and I know Nintendo is notorious for this, and I'm not trying to say go after them, but a game like Mario Kart Double Dash, those type of games, you can't buy a game like Mario Kart Double Dash anywhere unless you go to the dark web, or I can say dark web, but if you go to the web and just purchase it off of eBay or something. In some cases, those games are extremely expensive. Now, when you're talking about like digital copies of games, nowadays digital games are also being purged. There's some games that are being delisted all the time, and then there's other forms of media that are being taken away from people who actually bought their games. So it's only a matter of time that it's going to come trickle down the games. I firmly believe that at some point. So I'm not like saying go out and pirate your games or anything like that, but there's going to come a time. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. It's going to become a time where they're just not going to have the games available for people to purchase, and it's like that now with like some games on the Wii U, or some games that are on on the Wii console, some games that are on that's going to be the PS3 soon. That's going to be gone, and it's just a shame that those games going to be gone, and in my opinion, if you cannot find them, that's probably the best way to go if you really want a particular game that you can't buy. Now, my best solution, honestly, is to get the games while you can. Get them now if they're available to purchase, and you go into whatever space you want to. Like, let's say if you go to the PS3 store. Even if you go to the Xbox 360 store, any of those places, buy the games you want and keep them on your hard drive and keep it offline. Because you just never know. One day they may throw a patch out there to negate all of your games. That's one of the issues that people are thinking about with the PS3, and even in some cases with the PS4, with the CMOS battery situation, or just a situation where they're just taking like patches or updates off the PS3 store where you just can't get them. So this is a really big problem that this may need to be, I would say, addressed, on an individual basis. Like I said this a while back, it is up to us to preserve these games. At the end of the day, it's up to us. There's no other way around it. I'm not gonna rely on Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo or Steam or anything. I'm not necessarily dependent on them. If I want a game that I don't have, and there's no other way to really purchase it, I'm probably going to go that route to get it. I mean, now for me, I have all my retro games. There's not too many. It's maybe like 3 or 4 retro games that I want left, and I don't mind purchasing those games, through certain means to get the physical copies of them. If I have to, go on eBay or whatever the case may be, or if I have to go to, Solaris Japan or Play Asia, it's going to cost a lot of money, but I'm willing to spend that type of money on those particular games. I'm one of the few that got my games early and don't have to worry about these games. But I'm looking at some of these games that I have, and it's really a problem where it's some of these games just not available anymore. And the only way to get them is you're going to have to go out of your way to get them, You have to go out of your way. You have to go on the dark web. You're gonna have to find it, by whatever means you want to, just to play some of these games. And don't get it twisted. A lot of these content creators, they've been doing it for a while, and some of them are doing it now. So it's not necessarily taboo. I've seen people buy certain items with a whole bunch of ROMs on them, and you're gonna tell me that's not a piracy thing. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. And don't even get me started on the PC side of things. I mean, PC players, there's been a bad stigma of saying they've been pirating games for a long time, but at the same time, you have this thing with DRM, and that is an issue, and that's a whole nother issue, a whole nother story I can get into, which I don't want to get into now, because you're basically, I'll just put it in a nutshell, you're basically paying for a game. You're paying for a game on PC with DRM that causes the game to run worse than what it is if you just pirate the game and you just have it on your hard drive. I mean, I think Digital Foundry did something like that with the Resident Evil game, where it was like that as well. And people were like, okay, why is this game running better here than the DRM version? Like I said, it's a whole nother story of layers of security for people who purchase games. And it's kind of crazy. It's better if you steal it, you don't have that security. It's kind of backwards. But that's all I got to say about that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree, disagree? I'm not saying I'm for it, but I understand why. And it's going to be an issue down the road. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace.